Good morning, Eco Ambassadors. Today we're going to talk about what is a watershed. I'll give you a moment to think, what is a watershed? There's two words, water and shed. So you can think about that. So a watershed, you already know what this word means. Basically, it's the path that water wants to take from high to low. It's an area of land that drains into a body of water. So as rain falls, where does the rain go? You can picture close to you, you can picture in the big world or an ambiguous mountain as the water falls down. Where does it go off to? I'm going to go ahead and show you a map and we'll get a little bit more familiar. An area of land that drains into a body of water. All the rain that falls on the rivers, on the watershed will merge and they'll fall into a larger body of water such as the bay or the ocean. I think you guys can check out what this map is that we're looking at. You got it, it's California. So in this big California, you can see that we have on the west side, we have the ocean. On the east side, that's where there would be Nevada and Arizona. In the south, Mexico. And in the north is Oregon. So just to help you get a better idea of what we're looking at here on this map. And this is a really cool map. Some of you might have seen this last year. I like to carry this map and show you guys what's cool about it. But as we take a closer look, you start to notice some of the textures. So we'll zoom into our area. So here we have the coast, San Francisco, tracing down Monterey Bay, and here's Monterey County here. So you can take a closer look and start to see maybe some features that you recognize. Here we have Salinas, there's the Monterey Airport. You have Santa Cruz up north in the bay, and right here is Seaside, Carmel, I think Lover's Point is right over here. So you can start to notice some of this. I'm gonna take a closer zoom in. You can notice that there's some textures, there's some bumpiness to the map, some mountain ranges. So this is our area here. So it's pretty close to sea level. If you see on our map key over here, green, close to sea level, all the way to the gray and white, which is showing our highest point. So as we zoom back out, so we notice again our area is pretty close to sea level. It's pretty close to the ocean. You see that there's some areas that look like there could be possibly snow there. So one area that I see here, this mountain range is the Sierra Nevadas. Have some mountains there that could have snow. Here we have a mountain range closer to us. This is what I think is called the Diablo Range. I see it's called, or this is the coastal range. Up north, there's some taller mountains there. You can see the bumpiness as we kind of zoom in. The tallest point, I believe, here in California, Mount Shasta. Up here you can see that looks like a part where there would be snow. Could be snow. And then this area here in the center of California, in the valley, you see the blue, noticing where the water flows down from the mountains, collecting here in the valley. Does anyone know what this big green part here, this big green part of California is known for? It's a valley. Often it's known for growing fruits and vegetables. And you can think that might make sense because the water from the mountains travels down the mountains to where there could be some water in the valley, good for growing things. So just to get us a little bit more familiar with the map, again, here we are. Water for us will flow from the different mountain ranges and come towards the ocean. Up here we have San Francisco, LA, San Diego, some cities that you recognize maybe in the center of the valley, Bakersfield, Fresno, see if we can find Sacramento. And over here we have the Mojave Desert. And all the way south, you can see Arizona, Mexico, all the way down here. So just checking out a little bit about our California map, and we'll go ahead and do our watershed activity. Now you've seen a little bit about how water maybe moves in California from the high Sierra Nevada mountains, making their way down all the way to the ocean, maybe the Monterey Bay. We're going to be able to make our own watershed. So first you need to choose an area. So if you have an area outside that you can arrange things, that's perfect. If not, you can use the sink or the bathtub, and I'll show both examples. So choose an area that you can create your watershed. Gather materials such as rocks, jump rope, maybe some sticks or leaves, maybe some plastic toys, maybe a sponge. You will need a little bit of water for this activity. You're going to arrange your materials to make a city or make an area that define what your features are. Define where the lakes, where the houses, where the rivers, what are maybe people or animals. Begin to slowly add water to your model, noticing what happens as you add the water. The last part we're going to do is to maybe try this in a different situation, so maybe rearrange your model or maybe change locations to a different surface, maybe again the bathtub or a sink, and notice what happens. Hope you enjoy. Here we're going to make an example of a watershed. Notice the materials I gathered. Gather whatever materials work for you and are available. We here have some wood, some leaves, some flowers and rocks, water of course, and some small plastic toys, and a bin to do the activity in. Good luck, have fun! Let's notice what happens to the same watershed on a different surface beneath it. So we'll start our rain here on the top of the mountain. Notice what happens to the water. Does it run off? Does it get soaked in? Rain here on our road. On the car. On the houses. On the other car. The other houses. Notice what happens to the water here. So you can let things be whatever you want them to be, and go ahead and see what happens when the rain falls on the items in the watershed, which can be a bathtub or sink. Here it's like a rainstorm. These guys are on a boat. Here's a lake here. See what happens. Something's float. Nothing gets soaked in, notice, here in this environment. Go ahead and create your own watershed. You can create it indoors and notice what happens to the items in your watershed, the lakes, the people, maybe the houses, as water runs down. Hey there, we're back again. We'll take one last look at the California map. So curious, how did that activity go for all of you? You can go ahead and post it in the comments. I'm curious what you used, what materials, and how it went. So looking here at our map, again, here's Monterey Bay, just thinking about what happens when it rains in your area. What happens to the water? Does it go down any sort of mountains? Does it fall off anywhere? Does it pool? Does it go into the ground? And where does it ultimately go? You got it, the Pacific Ocean. So just taking a look at this map. So thinking about anywhere in California that you've lived, anywhere in the world that you've lived or been to, you might notice and think about where water goes when it rains. And ultimately it will take that path from high to low to eventually end up in probably the ocean. So curious what you think about what happens if there's any trash, garbage, oil, anything on the land. Where does that go when it rains? Where does it end up? You can let me know. So thinking about that. Just want to say a big thank you to you guys. I hope you had fun with this activity. Again, let me know how it went for you. Let me know your thoughts, and I'll look forward to seeing you next time.